Levitel, one of the creative minds behind this special, wanted to make a Mr. Magoo adaptation of A Christmas Carol.
God bless us.
God bless us.
Mr. Magoo is famous for one thing: he never sees what's really happening. So when he was cast as Ebenezer Scrooge, it wasn't a joke.
Magoo!
It was the point. This entire Christmas special is built around that idea, quietly and deliberately. And once you notice it, everything feels different. These are 20 strangest and bizarre facts behind Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, and how one casting choice shaped the entire story.
And this was important because it would preempt the very popular show, Laramie.
Fact 1. This was the first animated Christmas special made for television.
Magoo! Your costume! You're not in costume!
Before this, animated holiday specials didn't really exist on TV. In December of 1962, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol quietly became the first animated Christmas special created specifically for television. Not theaters, not short cartoons, but a full holiday event made for home viewers. That matters more than it sounds. It set the template. A single night broadcast, a seasonal tradition, animation as appointment viewing. Every Christmas special that followed, from Charlie Brown to Grinch, built on this idea. At the time, no one knew it was history. It was just a risk. A 1-hour animated musical in prime time. And the risk didn't stop there, because the way the story was told wasn't straightforward at all. In fact, it wasn't even just a Christmas Carol. Fact 2. It's a story inside a story, framed as a stage musical.
Let us see another Christmas.
This isn't just Dickens animated, it's Dickens performed. The special opens in the modern day, where Mr. Magoo is starring in a Broadway-style stage production of A Christmas Carol. What we watch is the play itself, framed by theater bookends. That choice changes everything. Songs feel natural because they're part of a stage show. Big emotions feel earned because they're being performed. Even exaggerated moments make sense because the audience is watching actors, not realism. It's a clever workaround that gives the special permission to be musical, dramatic, and stylized all at once. But inside that structure, the creators take another strange liberty because they don't even follow Dickens's ghost order. They shuffle it completely. Fact 3. The ghosts visit in a completely different order than the book.
Am I in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come?
If you know A Christmas Carol, you expect a rhythm. Past, present, future. This special flips it. First comes present, then past, and finally future. That's not a small tweak. It reshapes the emotional journey. Instead of easing Scrooge into memory, the special confronts him immediately with the warmth he's missing. Only later does it dig into what shaped him. The result feels more theatrical and less literary again, fitting the stage show framing. The goal isn't strict adaptation, it's emotional momentum. And that freedom ties directly into the strangest casting decision of all, because the man playing Scrooge is famous for not seeing anything clearly on purpose. Fact 4. Casting Mr. Magoo as Scrooge is the entire point.
Be gone, you miserable little beggars, before I give you something to sing about.
Mr. Magoo is famously nearsighted. He bumps into things, he misreads danger, he survives by accident. So casting him as Scrooge isn't ironic, it's conceptual. The entire special is built on one idea: a man who can't see playing a man who can't see the truth. Magoo doesn't just portray blindness, he embodies it. His stubborn confidence, his refusal to admit he's wrong, his certainty in the face of obvious reality, all of it fits Scrooge perfectly. That joke runs quietly through the entire special, giving it depth most kids never articulate but still feel. And to sell that idea emotionally, the creators needed music strong enough to carry real weight, which is why they didn't hire cartoon songwriters. They went to Broadway. Fact 5. The songs were written by actual Broadway hitmakers.
Great to be back on Broadway.
This wasn't cartoon music. The songs were written by Jules Stein and Bob Merrill, the same team behind major Broadway hits like Funny Girl. That's why the music feels different. Bigger melodies, longer phrases, songs that slow down instead of rushing to punchlines. Numbers like Alone in the World aren't filler, they're emotional centerpieces. The special treats its audience seriously. It assumes kids can sit with sadness. It assumes adults are listening too. That Broadway DNA is why the show feels heavier, richer, and more sincere than later specials. And it all debuted on a specific winter night, one broadcast, one chance. Because next, we move into the weirdness of its original airing, its stacked voice cast, and the surprising people behind those voices. Fact 6. It first aired on NBC in December of 1962.
On Broadway!
Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol premiered on NBC on December 18th, 1962. That date matters. This wasn't a casual holiday rerun or a filler cartoon. It was a prime-time event scheduled carefully as a one-night broadcast. Miss it, and it was gone. At the time, networks didn't know if animation could hold an adult audience for nearly an hour. NBC took the gamble anyway. No precedent, no safety net. Families sat together because they had to. There was no replay button. That sense of urgency gave the special weight before it even began. And NBC didn't just rely on the concept. They stacked the cast with serious voice talent, turning a cartoon into something closer to a radio drama with pictures. Fact 7. The voice cast was shockingly stacked for a cartoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, our director. Oh no.
This wasn't a lightweight cartoon cast. Jim Backus voiced both Mr. Magoo and Scrooge, anchoring the entire special. But around him were heavy hitters. Jack Cassidy, Royal Dano, and Paul Frees. Voices usually reserved for prestige narration and serious roles. That choice elevated everything. Dialogue felt theatrical. Songs felt grounded. Emotions landed with real weight instead of cartoon exaggeration. You can hear it in the performances. No one is winking at the audience. They're playing Dickens straight, even inside a stylized frame. And once you start listening closely, something even stranger pops up because two completely different characters share the same voice, and most people never notice. Fact 8. Tiny Tim and the Ghost of Christmas Past share the same voice.
And what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Tiny Tim and the Ghost of Christmas Past sound nothing alike, but they're voiced by the same performer, Joan Gardner. That's a subtle piece of casting poetry. Tiny Tim represents innocence and vulnerability. The Ghost of Christmas Past represents memory and emotional truth. Using the same voice quietly links them thematically. Both are forces that soften Scrooge. Most viewers never realize it because Gardner adjusts tone and delivery so carefully. The characters feel distinct even though they're born from the same performance. It's one of those layered decisions that gives the special more emotional coherence than it first appears to have. And that emotional depth lives most clearly in the music because several songs from this special didn't just land, they stuck around for decades. Fact 9. Several songs became standout holiday classics.
Knowing we're together, knowing we're together.
The special produced songs that outlived the broadcast itself, numbers like Ringle, Ringle, The Lord's Bright Blessing, Winter Was Warm, and Alone in the World became the heart of the production. Alone in the World in particular is unusually heavy for an animated special. It doesn't rush to cheerfulness, it sits with isolation. That's a Broadway move, not a cartoon one. These songs didn't talk down to kids or wink at adults. They trusted the audience to feel. And to give those songs room to breathe, the special broke another norm because its runtime was much longer than most animated holiday shows that followed. Fact 10. It runs nearly an hour, not a half hour.
Merry Christmas!
Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol runs about 53 minutes. That's a full hour slot by television standards of the time. Later animated Christmas specials would tighten things down to 30 minutes or less. This one didn't. It took its time. Long songs, full scenes, emotional pauses. That extra space is why the story feels complete instead of rushed. It unfolds like a stage production, not a cartoon sprinting to the ending. NBC treated it like a real holiday program, not filler. And that ambition shows in who directed it, because next, We get into the creative pedigree behind the camera, the modern animation style that made it visually bold, and how this special quietly drifted away, then came back again years later. Fact 11. It was directed by animation legend Abe Levitow.
I am the ghost of Christmas present. You have never seen the like of me before.
Well, I'm not sure I see the like of you now.
This special wasn't handed to a beginner. It was directed by Abe Levitow, one of the most respected animation directors of the era. Levitow understood timing, mood, and restraint. Three things animated specials often rush. Under his direction, scenes are allowed to pause, songs are allowed to breathe. Emotional moments aren't undercut by jokes. That's why Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol feels calmer and more serious than many later holiday cartoons. It trusts silence as much as sound. Levitow treated the material like theater, not slapstick. That choice shaped everything from pacing to performance, and his approach worked hand in hand with the studio behind it because the animation style itself was radically different from most cartoons on television at the time. Fact 12. It was produced by UPAA studio that looked nothing like Disney.
Did you see? She chose me. Beautiful.
This special came from UPA, one of the most distinctive animation studios ever. UPA rejected realism. No detailed backgrounds, no rounded Disney characters. Instead, flat shapes, bold colors, and graphic design ruled the screen. That modern look wasn't laziness, it was philosophy. UPA believed animation should suggest, not imitate. The style matched the stage play framing perfectly. It also helped the special age better. Instead of looking dated, it looks intentional like a moving illustration. UPA's style made the ghosts eerie, the settings symbolic, and the emotions clear without visual clutter. And even after its strong debut, the special didn't become an instant yearly ritual because next, we see how it quietly faded from network tradition before finding a second life. Fact 13. NBC reran it for years, then let it drift away.
Everything is going to be...
Hi.
After its premiere, NBC reran Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol for several years. It wasn't an instant annual juggernaut, but it slowly built recognition. Then, without much announcement, it faded from regular network rotation. New specials arrived, taste changed, programming blocks tightened. The Magoo special quietly slipped out of the spotlight. For a while, it felt like something remembered more than seen, a half-forgotten holiday artifact. But it didn't vanish. It resurfaced later through syndication and cable, where a new generation discovered it outside the pressure of network schedules. And that rediscovery happened just in time because this was one of the earliest holiday specials to hit home video formats. Fact 14. It reached home video earlier than most holiday specials.
People feel obligated to pay their debts. Oh, wouldn't old Jacob Marley have been proud?
This special didn't wait decades to be preserved. It appeared on VHS, Betamax, and Laserdisc as early as 1982, then DVD in 2001, and Blu-ray in 2010. That early availability mattered. It kept the special alive during years when it wasn't airing on major networks. Families could own it, revisit it, and pass it down. That's why some people remember it vividly while others barely know it. It depended on what your household owned. Home video turned it from a broadcast event into a personal tradition. And that preservation locked in its legacy because even today, the studio behind it still claims a very specific historical title for this special. Fact 15. It's still officially promoted as the first animated holiday special.
But it might be pleasant to let them remember upon Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Universal continues to promote Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol as the first animated holiday special in television history. That's not marketing fluff, it's history. The studio leans into that claim because it still holds up. This was the blueprint. Primetime animation, holiday tradition, serious storytelling for families. Everything that followed owes something to this experiment. It proved animation didn't have to be loud, short, or silly to work on television. And while it doesn't get the yearly spotlight anymore, its influence is baked into every animated Christmas special that came after, which makes this final truth quietly powerful. The special didn't just adapt Dickens, it changed how television celebrated Christmas forever. Fact 16. The special treats Dickens like a Broadway rehearsal, not a straight story.
Relax, my good man. I've never missed an entrance yet.
This isn't a normal adaptation of A Christmas Carol. It plays more like a Broadway rehearsal caught on camera. Characters step in and out of roles, stage directions are acknowledged, songs end like curtain calls instead of story beats. You're constantly reminded that this is a performance inside a performance. That choice is intentional. It gives the special freedom. Musical numbers don't interrupt the story, they are the story. Emotions feel theatrical instead of literal. It's closer to a filmed stage musical than a traditional cartoon. That's why it feels older, heavier, and more deliberate than later animated specials made strictly for kids. And that theatrical mindset carries into the visual design too, especially when the Ghost of Christmas Future appears, because that figure barely feels human at all. Fact number 17, the Ghost of Christmas Future is designed like abstract art.
Ooh. By heaven, I'm seeing things.
The Ghost of Christmas Future in this special barely speaks. In fact, it's almost completely silent. Instead of a traditional character, UPA designed it as a looming, dark shape, more symbol than person, no facial detail, no warmth, just presence. This wasn't budget saving, it was philosophy. UPA believed animation should suggest ideas, not imitate reality. The future ghost isn't meant to talk, it's meant to press down on you. The result is unsettling in a quiet way. There's no jump scare, no shouting, just inevitability. For many viewers, this is the most haunting version of the future ghost ever animated. And that seriousness makes another creative decision even stranger because the voice of Scrooge never really changes at all. Fact 18. Jim Backus uses the same voice for Magoo and Scrooge.
My boy, you must have a cab. Now for the turkey, and for the cab.
Jim Backus voices both Mr. Magoo and Ebenezer Scrooge, and he barely disguises the performance. There's no dramatic shift. No attempt to become a new character vocally. Instead, the production leans into Backus's familiar Magoo voice and trusts the audience to follow along. That sounds risky, but it works because it reinforces the core idea. Magoo is Scrooge, a man stubbornly confident, blind to reality, refusing correction even when the truth is right in front of him. The voice choice becomes thematic, not lazy. You're not supposed to forget it's Magoo. You're supposed to understand why he was cast. And when that voice sings, the emotional weight lands hardest in one particular song, one that outlived the special itself. Fact 19. I'm All Alone in the World became the most remembered song.
When you're alone, alone in the world.
I'm All Alone in the World wasn't designed as a pop hit, but it became the song people remembered most. The number charted on record releases, was frequently singled out by critics, and is still cited as one of the strongest musical moments in any animated Christmas special. What makes it linger is restraint. The song doesn't rush to comfort. It sits with loneliness. It allows silence and space. For an animated holiday program, that was rare, especially in the early 1960s. It's not flashy. It's honest. And that honesty points to something bigger about the entire production, because unlike most animated Christmas specials that followed, this one wasn't really made for kids at all. Fact 20. This was an animated Christmas special made for adults to stitch.
Tell me truthfully, would you choose a girl whose father left so little money?
Yes, Belle.
Most later animated Christmas specials are built around children first. This one wasn't. The Broadway songwriters, stage framing, sophisticated humor, and emotional pacing were all aimed at adults and families together. Kids could watch it, but it wasn't simplified for them. That made it unusual and a little risky. Network animation rarely trusted adults to sit through cartoons seriously, but this special did. That's why it feels heavier, quieter, and more thoughtful than what came later. It wasn't trying to sell toys or catch attention, it was trying to perform. And that choice explains why it never quite fit into the yearly TV rotation like other specials, yet still holds a reputation far larger than its airtime.